What to do with my hands. So.
Man, all right. Well, we got 4 check marks. Oh, I hit the mic. We're here. We're a little late running to the car. It's I think post-pandemic reality is kind of here because Carl, you lived in Seattle for a little bit too. The 5.
Yep.
Ooh, man, that traffic is no joke. But welcome in, everybody. We got 5 check marks now. We're happy to have things kind of starting to be our new normal, but that means traffic is back, and I'm sure in Denver as well. So shout out to everyone, and let's say hello first. Let's say hello to everyone. Carl, hello to you. But first, more important than Carl, more important than me, the comment section. No way, man, coming in here saying go Broncos. Woo, I'm hyped for the pod. We got Bradley Conger in the house too, saying clipboard for Teddy and Locke can use everything else. All right, Bradley. Well, we'll see how it plays out. George Newton's in the house. Good to see you, George. Hello, all. Hello to you, George. Good to see you. Gary Neighbors is in the house. Go Broncos. #1 country tonight. Thank you very much. We got Jetty Splash with the cute pic of his. Is that a bird or a dog? I can't tell with it's so small.
I know, yeah.
It's a dog bird dog. Well, either way,
it's a bird.
Jetty, it's a bird. All right,
I just expanded it. Yeah, it's a bird.
All right, well, rock and roll says Jetty Splash with the bird. We got Manu Caribbean coming in here with the wave. Hello to you, Manu. Hope you're doing pretty well. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Charlie. Come on, Baxter. Don't you know I don't speak Spanish? What's going on here? Senor
Where is
Nick?
Where is
Mr. Nick?
Senior Nick is not here. That's what that is.
Nick
I'm
is
working
here.
on my Spanish, so I'm getting a little better here.
Gazoon-tight. Greg Smith is in the house. Good to see you. Good evening, Greg Smith. Jay, one of my faves. I love you, Jay. Both Jays, Jay Kozad and Jay Roper in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see both you. Brian Bowman, hello. How you doing? Oh, it's a bird, says Jay. Well, he's helping us out. And Facebook user, always joining us. I guess it's a good shout out. If you guys are one of the many Facebook users today, please make sure that you follow us on Facebook. Follow our pages, facebook.com/Mile High Huddle, and also facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. Become a supporter. Go join the groups. Join in the discussions. It's always lively in there. You got all walks of life, and when you have a group as big as that group, it's I'll emphasize again, all walks of life, but it's a lot of fun. Also, if you guys are joining us on Twitter, please follow Carl on Twitter @Carl Dumler MHH and myself @Kendell MHH, and the man, the myth, the legend, Buana Beast @John K MHH. Shows I'd had to do a solo show this morning, but not really solo because John was the wind beneath my wings, helping me while I just blathered on. So appreciate John for joining us today. Also, if you guys are joining us on Twitter today, follow us @Mile High Huddle and @BDB Pod. And guys, every Tuesday night, Building the Broncos. We're here for you. 6:00 Mountain Time. I'm really starting to get my time zones aligned. I've lived in Seattle long enough now. I'm starting to get it. But make sure you guys join us Tuesday nights for Building the Broncos. And Carl, man, I feel like a lot of talking today. I've been busy, go. And I know things have been, Mother Nature has not been so kind to you here recently. It's going to be like 100 degrees in Seattle this weekend. So, but how are you doing?
I'm good. We had like I said, a giant storm. So we had a tornado a couple weeks ago. Now we had 90-mile-per-hour winds come through our town that ripped up trees. And so I spent Father's Day actually just going around picking up trees at other people's places because thankfully our house was good. Our trees were good. Just very minimal damage for us and the church as well. So got really fortunate. So yeah, got to go out and help a few people. And it was kind of a cool day because my daughter at the end of it goes, "I'm just really glad I got to spend the day with you, Dad." And that was a heartwarming moment that, I thought, hey, I was picking up branches. She'd be upset that this is how we spend Father's Day. Nope. She was all excited. So it was a good day.
Sounds like my dog, who would also be happy to pick up branches anytime. No, but good to hear that. And happy Father's Day to everybody. Happy belated Juneteenth as well. I'm sure it's some holiday today as well. But hello. And I think John has something here for us from George, coming in with a super sticker with the pair, with the sunglasses, being a little flirtatious, a little. I always love that pair, man. It's thick in the lower half with a $2 super. Thank you very much, George, coming in a little flirtatious with us. We appreciate you a heck of a lot. We also got 10-foot U coming in here today, saying good to see you guys as well. Don't forget to smash that like button. I reiterate that. Good job. Thank you very much for the free publicity there. Brandon Floyd saying, what's going on? Not too much, Brandon. Just trying not to melt. It's hot here in Seattle. It's hot everywhere, but people around here, they don't have air conditioners, so they freak out. Marcus Lorma's in the house. What's up, fellas? Good to see you, Marcus. We got Ben Barron coming in here. Sup, guys in Broncos country? Go Broncos. Lauren Weiss YEC in the house. Fort Smith, Arkansas. Good evening, MHH. Good evening to you as well. Gary Leeds Palmer. Gary, good to see you, man. It's always great to see you. Hello, Broncos country and BTB priests. Oh, man. I think it's the first time I've been dubbed a priest on here, Carl. I know by trade, you get that title, but I don't want to burst into flames over here. I'm too rude. I'm not going to walk around. I'm Old Testament.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay. I'll put in a good word for you.
Oh, I need it, man. I need it. Marcus Lemon, Niner fan following because of my boy Carl. Oh, this is your buddy Marcus. That's nice.
Yep.
Did you help Marcus with his trees?
I didn't check. I hope, Marcus, everything's good for your place. If you need any help, let me know. Got a little free time tomorrow. So, yeah, there were some big ones down, and some trampolines decided to go flying downtown as well. So,
oh my God.
Ugh. Yeah.
There's like a really funny like TikTok. I mean, it's scary as heck, but somebody did like a floating Mario Party song to a toilet, outside toilet. What are those called? Porta potty? Just Have you seen that video? I'll have to share
No,
it
I
later.
haven't.
Oh man,
okay,
classic. But we got Albert coming in here. Say, don't forget to sign up with Facebook for all the extra content like Kelberman's Corner and the Trickle Zone. I wanted it to be Trickle Me Elmo, but that one did not fly. So sorry, Eric. We got Michael in the house too, saying good evening, Carl and Nick from Building the Broncos. How your day going, guys? It's hot. It's been busy, but it's good. Thank you for asking, Michael. And Carl, sounds like your day's going pretty well as well.
Yeah, it's been a good one. Just doing a lot of time. It was a daughter day, so I got to hang out with her, and now I get to talk some Broncos. What could be better of a day?
Oh man, maybe we could throw in a hike in there. Hey guys, took for the pod from Matt Henry, roughing the passer in here. How do you do, fellow kids? The Steve Buscemi bit, love it. How old are you, buddy? Man, that's got to let me know there. Bryce coming in here. Good evening, gentlemen. D Brown, only 70 where I'm at. Lucky dog, lucky you. Good to see. And saying, no way, man, saying Nick, you killed it this morning. Well, thank you. I'm glad somebody appreciated it. And EJ in the house. Ooh, a trickle of knowledge. That's a good one, too. But EJ saying, what's up, Broncos country? And Maurice. Oh, no, this is French. Nous sommes les Broncos et nous allons gagner. I hope I didn't say something inappropriate there. And also, I probably butchered that last one. I took French for 4 years, but I was not the best French student. I was definitely a remember right before the test, get it all out. Then it's gone. But thank you very much, Maurice. Let us know in the comments what it means. But let's get the time going here. Carl, you came up with a theme for today's show, and I know it's something that's been kind of somewhat discussed in Broncos country. I think it's really interesting. I've thought about it some. I've been pretty busy today, so mine's going to be a little bit more off the cuff and reactionary, which that's what I always do now. But Carl, lead the way. What are you thinking here?
Well, so this morning I heard that that both Bridgewater and Locke are both going to have different passing camp times.
Okay.
And some players are going to Bridgewater, some players are going to Locke. I don't like that.
No.
And this is what happens when you have a quarterback competition. When you've got two quarterbacks, you've got no quarterbacks. And if this becomes that dividing issue within the locker room of some guys really liking Locke, I think some of the young guys, I think Noah Fant, Cortland Sutton, some of those guys that have been with him for a couple years here, of course, got a little bit of that same draft class with Noah Fant to now Jerry Jeudy wanting to go down and be with Bridgewater because they've got a great connection and liking each other a lot. Just seem to be just really gelling well. I don't like that. And I hope that this doesn't tear the locker room apart. And this is why I think the quicker the big decision makers can come up with a decision and just say, this is our guy, the better off it's going to be for the Broncos. Yeah. Because then the players can actually just say, okay, you know what? They said this is our guy. This is who we're going to rally around. Let's go for it. And I realize they can't do that until at least a little bit into training camp and those kind of things. So this whole month and a half of time, we're just going to have to deal with the fact that there might be some division here.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And I don't know if anybody in the comment section or John could pull up who's going to whose camp. That would be interesting to dissect as well. Or is that not all that information is out yet, Carl, or is it all out? So, who's going where?
The two players I know, Jerry Jeudy's going to Bridgewater, Noah Fant is going to Locke. So the two first round guys So you can't sit there and say, okay, first round guy going here, that means they're probably going to listen to him more. No, it's both first round guys going in opposite directions. And it's not good.
Man, that is not good. It's not going to matter because the Broncos are going to trade for Aaron Rodgers, right? So then it's just going to be like, oh, they were just practicing. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, God, I hope not, actually. But we got Maurice coming in saying, translation, we are the Broncos and we are going to win. Well, I hope so. That would be ideal. And we got George coming in here with the $5 super. George, thank you so much for supporting the show. We appreciate it a heck of a lot. What do you guys think of the NFL COVID protocol? I shouldn't have said the C word. The NFL protocol insanity punishing players who choose not to vaccinate. Oh, George, you are going to get us in trouble.
Yeah.
Man, I think that it is a private business and the NFL's protocol is what it is. I just hope players make smart, educated decisions, and we respect that, and no bad things come either way. Did I nail it? Was that PC as hell?
Yeah.
Did I do it? Okay.
Yeah, no, you did good. This is a tough situation, and for a lot of people making this kind of decision, they're grown men, and it's big business. Like I said, they're private business. They can make a lot of decisions of how they want to do it. Sounds like the Broncos don't have to worry too much because they have a lot of the team that is made the decision to go ahead and get vaccinated. And coaching staff sounds like they're all vaccinated. So it doesn't sound like it's really going to affect the Broncos a whole lot. But yeah, I think there are going to be some other teams. This could become a big deal when it comes to getting those practices in and what they can do. And so it could be advantage for the Broncos in that sense, I guess you could say. But like I said, it is a personal decision. How about let's just probably leave it at that. We don't need to get too much into detail on some of those things because it could lead to a lot of weird conversation that we don't want to go down. We kind of want to talk about the football side of things and what's going on here. And
I'm sorry. I just really love Thad Benson so much with the mustache on Chad's head. Whoever this is. God, this is the funniest thing I've seen today. So I really appreciate that. Thad Benson. Nick, are you staying out of trouble? God, I wouldn't do that if I knew how. But that's Swink McLeod saying, well done, Nick, I guess, either for the morning this time or whatever. But we'll move forward here real quick. And I think this is a really good point coming in here from Dale Rude saying, as far as what pass catchers are going to which personal passing camps between Bridgewater and Locke, saying Sutton and Patrick don't care. They will catch anything anyway. So, Carl, this is interesting. I kind of want to get into it here and go into some of the pass catchers and who you think would pair best with some. And I think there are some washes in here, and there are some that really lean one way or the other. But let's get into it here. Sutton and Patrick. Do you think that either is better with a singular quarterback, or are they both washes?
I would say Sutton and Locke, just because one, they have the connection. Mm-hmm. They've had a couple years of actually working together at different times, getting some throws in. So they've got a little bit more of that timing aspect of it. And we've seen where I would say Locke does a little bit more of trusting that his receiver is going to go make a play, even in traffic. And so a guy like Sutton, a guy like Patrick who can go high point the ball, they're going to like a quarterback that's willing to throw even when it looks like they're covered. And I think that's why I would give the edge a little bit to Locke on that side with those two players. I mean, I think Bridgewater with his accuracy and timing and things like that and allowing them to go make more plays down the field, I would say that works better with Sutton. Patrick's not really a after the catch kind of player. I mean, he's got a lot of straight line speed, don't get me wrong, but he's not more of the juke and do things down the field. Sutton can do some of that. He kind of reminds me, he's slippery. He's like Brandon Marshall, the wide receiver, not the linebacker. He wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but Brandon Marshall could just make guys miss. Mm-hmm. I can't remember which game it was, but he made like 8 guys miss on one play, and I think he scored a touchdown. And it was just one of the best plays I've seen by a Bronco wide receiver in a long time. So I think Sutton could maybe be a little bit of a wash. Patrick, probably better with Locke.
Yeah, I think that they both tend to lean towards Locke, and that is just because Locke is a little less safer with the football. And both of those guys, while they can generate separation, they're the I'm open when I'm covered kind of guys. And for Locke being a guy who is a gunslinger and much more likely to stick on that primary read, covered or not, and try to fire it in there. I think that makes sense for Patrick and Sutton, both big body guys, both ones that can do contested catches, both slants, outs, or vertically down the field as well. So I think they both tend to lean towards Drew Lock, but in that sense, also like they're both going to lean towards the more competent quarterback, right? Like it doesn't really even, I don't think it's that much of a difference as far as one style really making one guy better than the other, because you just want to get better quarterback. And then hopefully you'll have a synergistic effect on the rest of the offense and you'll get better opportunities. And it's not just a better volume that you want better efficiency in your pass game. More explosive passes per pass, better plays in the red zone, better third down conversion, right? It's just not this raw data. It's the context matters, and you want better efficiency. So I think these guys, if you gun to my head, they both would lean more towards Sutton and Patrick, or lean more towards Locke. But I don't think it's that big of a difference off the top of my head. I think the biggest one for me is specifically Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy is the guy who has the biggest difference between Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. And that's because Jerry Jeudy, while he can do stuff down the field, he's much more of a short, intermediate passer, at least coming out of college. We'll see what he grows into year 2 in the NFL. And timing is huge for him, right? And that's just something that Lock didn't have in college, didn't show it his first 2 years in the NFL so far, as far as the intermediate accuracy, short accuracy, and timing. That's just hasn't been his game yet. So we'll see. But I think Jerry Jeudy is the one who's... if like Bridgewater is announced the starter, I'm trying to nab Jeudy in almost every single one of my fantasy leagues, especially PPR.
Right. Yeah. And that's where, again, you see Bridgewater understand the system, understand that he is throwing to a spot more so than waiting for a guy to get open. I mean, that was something I was kind of hearing with some of the struggles that Locke had, where he was waiting for a guy to break open before making the throw. Now he has the arm that makes up for some of that, where he can still squeeze it in there. Where Bridgewater, again, he's thrown to a spot where he knows the wide receiver is going to be. And like I said, that's Jerry Jeudy. That's what he had in college with Tua. Tua doesn't have the biggest arm, but Tua was very, very accurate, very on time with everything that they were doing, very much within the system, doing what they did well. And like I said, Jerry Jeudy, that's what he loves. If he can get even a couple steps and the ball be on target, man, that's how that guy can go and make a big play. That last game of the season against the Raiders, that huge, 88-yard touchdown, 92-yard touchdown, something like that.
Yeah.
His longest receiving play of the season. That was a pass that was on time, in space, perfect throw, accuracy-wise. And yes, that was with Drew Lock. But we did see some others where Jerry Jeudy broke open, and Drew Lock was just too late on the throw. And so you just got to – the Broncos are really going to have to weigh this. These are very opposite quarterbacks in a lot of ways. Highly accurate, smart, not the biggest arm.
Decently
big
accurate.
arm.
I don't know if I'd say highly accurate. Like you watch Aaron Rodgers to Teddy Bridgewater, it's like, okay, one of these guys is highly accurate. One of them is solid, accurate, short, intermediate. Sorry,
No, I agree. And I do worry, like you were talking about some other stats of, what do they do in the red zone? Well, which one's better? Which one do you think can be better in the red zone? Where you get some tight windows.
I think Locke is better in the red zone. Yeah. But what would you rather have? Somebody, let's just put it out there. In the red zone, you have a guy who averages over the year. I don't even know what a standard would be. But like with Teddy Bridgewater, you are going to get more field goals where you sputter out, but you're also not going to get the interceptions, I think, in the end zone as well, because he's going to protect the football. And with the way this Broncos team is built, am I concerned about getting in the end zone via the pass game when I have Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams? So what's the trade-off there? You understand what I'm getting at? Like, it's kind of like when the Vikings had Bridgewater, right? Like the quarterback's not throwing a lot of passing touchdowns. Well, they're handing it off to Adrian Peterson once they get in the goal-to-go situation. You have a freaking hammer. As long as you can navigate the football between the 20s, protect the football, you can do some things in the red zone. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens there, but I I don't know. I just hope that either of these guys. I'm not really pulling for either of them, or I am pulling for both of them, but not one over the other. I just want the Broncos to really highlight their good weapons and protect the damn football because this is a defensive-oriented team. Let's let the defense play with the lead for once, or not with like terrible field position because I am freaking tired of it. I want to see Von Miller get 15 sacks this year. I want to see all the interceptions come back, et cetera, et cetera. So Swink coming in here. Also, Gary, I didn't know you were a dancer, Nick. Only after a few adult beverages, and even then, no. Let's keep going here. We got Josiah Hicks coming in here saying, "What's up, guys? I feel like Teddy is better than Drew in different aspects, and Drew is better than Teddy in different aspects." So here we go. I hope Drew can learn from Teddy and become a better quarterback overall. I mean, I've said it on the show many times. I'm very critical of Drew Lock because I'm not grading him on a curve, right? You cannot, especially this is a third year in the league. Typically, you know about a quarterback after their second year, right? Like at least if we don't know like the final say, but we kind of got like a range of what to expect now of where this quarterback can be after 2 years in the league. Even if they didn't even play their first year, typically, after their second year. So I'm hopeful for Drew Lock, but we will see. And Carl, do you have a birthday coming up? I saw somebody mention Carl's birthday. This is for Carl's birthday.
No, I had one in April. So
okay, that's right.
Got a little ways away.
It's around the draft.
Yeah. Yep. So it'll be a little bit of time. But hey, if you want to start sending stuff for the birthday now, I'm not going to disagree with that. No, that's hashtag Carl's birthday fun. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. You got to start early. I'm one of those guys. I like some big gifts. Unfortunately,
that's the thing, right? It's like just give me a gift card so I can get like a bigger thing. I don't need a $15 knickknack. I appreciate the gesture, but I'd rather you come, buy me around. That's honestly it. Hello, Nick and Carl from Mike S. and Broncos Country. How you doing, Mike? Mike, let us know who should we watch out for some Alabama players this year, right? It's getting to be time to start really looking out for some college players, right? The dead time, that's typically when I really start to dig over previous seasons college football, just see what happens. Even though last year's tape is hit or miss, I guess is the way we'll put it.
And I keep seeing this come up. David Bingaman, 17 games isn't 2 years, man. Do the math, Mr. Stats. Okay.
We have historical trends on quarterbacks, and it is 2 years in the league, not games played. So, sorry, that's the threshold that's being used that typically you can find. And what does that mean for quarterbacks that haven't played in 2 years? Well, typically, unless they have a Hall of Famer in front of them, means that they weren't good enough to take the job.
Yep.
And is what it is. Russell Wilson had Matt Flynn in front of him. He was a third-round pick, right? Oh, he could sit there behind Matt Flynn for a year. Russell Wilson took it. So that's what you hope for.
Right.
But it's not starts. It's years in the league. That is the threshold.
And I would add 2 years in the league, 2 injuries.
Yeah.
2 his throwing arm. You can't undersell that. That's important to look at. I mean, part of your evaluation is your availability. Mm-hmm. And right now, Locke hasn't shown that he can stay healthy in the NFL. He's got to learn to do better with the throwaways. He's got to learn when to take a hit, how to take a hit. There's times where he's trying to do too much, and it's led to some of his bad interceptions. It's led to a couple of his injuries. So there's things that Locke has to learn that are the little details that matter. I mean, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, those guys, they're not the most athletic guys. They're not out there escaping anyone. But they figured out when to take hits. I mean, the patented Peyton Manning throwaway or the Peyton Manning sack where he'd self-sack himself. He's like, I'm not going to take this big hit. I know I'm getting sacked. Why would I take a big hit if I don't have to?
Yep.
And it annoyed a lot of people. But at the same time, like, hey, he lived to play another play.
Yeah.
You need your starter out there. So go ahead.
And for quarterback specifically, you see a few jumps from them based on age. First, you'll see them kind of make a jump age 22, 23, and then hopefully I guess 20, 21, then about 22, 23. So kind of like their sophomore to junior / senior year. And then like sometime in their rookie contract, they take a leap. Hopefully year 2, you see it after their rookie year. And then there's one after they get paid. So like, that's why you kind of see these teams that pay these quarterbacks, these rookie quarterbacks. You'll see them, they'll be really good at the end of the beginning or the end of the rookie contract, and then they get paid. And there seems to be a little bit of regression. It's because the team around them is not as strong most of the time because they're getting paid, 20%, 25% of the salary cap space. And then you see that quarterback grow a bit more, and they start to be able to hopefully raise all ships and overcome that huge salary cap hit. But it's always, not every single player follows the mold. there are statistical outliers. We can look no further than Josh Allen being one, who the leap that he made year 2 to year 3 was extremely rare. Wouldn't bank on it, just like I wouldn't bank drafting a 6th-round quarterback to be Tom Brady. And another one that's happened in, I guess, the last decade is Ryan Tannehill, who was kind of, you saw a lot of flashes his 2nd year and 3rd year. I think he was injured his 4th year, and that kind of really threw him off. But those are 2 quarterbacks who took big leaps outside of the expected. After year 2, you kind of know what a guy is. So there is hope. If you want to hang your hat on that, by all means. I'm not here to gatekeep your fan or your perspective, but it's useful information.
Yep. And we had someone coming in here off of Twitch. Oh, we'll get to Trevor here. Nick said something to think about a while back that stuck with me. If you have 2 quarterbacks and you don't have one, bring on Rodgers. It's very seldom do you see a team that has a quarterback battle go into camp and you sit there and say, this worked out well. The Seahawks, they had a quarterback battle when Russell Wilson was a rookie. It worked out well, but they made a quick decision too. I mean, they really didn't wait that long. It was pretty quick to see that Russell Wilson was the man there. You could say a little bit, maybe I'm trying to think of some other quarterbacks.
That were immediate, like obvious?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say Ryan Tannehill and Marcus Mariota, where they actually picked Marcus Mariota, which was the wrong decision. And he got benched, obviously, against the Broncos after they were not doing well for the season.
Yeah.
And then it worked out well, where then they went to the playoffs, made it to the AFC Championship game, and the rest is history now, where Ryan Tannehill is one of the highest paid quarterbacks. And so even there, you kind of see sometimes you even make the wrong decision. You go with the safe decision, which maybe that's what the Broncos do too. Make the safe decision, go with Teddy Bridgewater, and it's not working out, and you switch to Locke, and you're like, why didn't they start with Locke? There's so much that goes into this.
I think there's a lot of hope for Locke, though, for that reason, because like I've said it many times on the show with Scott, that this is probably the first time in quite some time that Locke has had legitimate competition, and he's going to have to go out there and earn it, right? Like, it's not like it's been handed to him, so to speak, but like 4-star recruit going to Missouri. It's not like he's going out there battling Alabama, Ohio State, 4-star, 5-star, Oklahoma, 4-star, 5-star quarterbacks, right? So he was always going to be a dude there. And then when he came to Denver, unless you bought the absolute BS that was Joe Flacco's in his prime from the Broncos PR machine, oh yeah, we still believe he's got Super Bowl football in front of him. So obviously they were going to go to Drew Lock pretty quickly there, and not really much of a competition in that regard. And here we are, first time in potentially his whole career that Drew Lock is going to have to go out there and legitimately earn it and battle for the position. So, I think we'll find out a lot about Drew Lock and what he can be in his career just over training camp this year, because if he's going to be the dude, and how some of these people in the comment section and Broncos country in general talk about Teddy Bridgewater. If Drew Lock can't beat out Teddy Bridgewater for how you perceive Teddy Bridgewater, here's your sign, right? Like, read the room, right? Like, here we are. So I'm pulling for it. Best case scenario, it's Drew Lock wins, but we won't know until we know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that comment. Joe Flacco self-sacked himself. Yeah. And unfortunately, Joe Flacco, he'd never really proven to be, I mean, Manning could get away with it because you saw he could make up for it. Joe Flacco could never make up for it. And then Albert coming in here, Locke wasn't supposed to start his first year with Flacco on the team. Yeah, to a point. I think they saw that there was some time that he needed to really adjust to the NFL, because he even had his struggles there in college. That's why he fell to the second round. And it was just going to take some time for sure. But you like to see some things that are here's my problem. I guess I'll just throw this out there. My problem with Locke isn't like, oh, he had all these bad interceptions or anything like that. It's how he had the interceptions. That the same problems that I saw in the tape from his freshman year of college are a lot of the same problems I still see second year in the NFL. That's the problem. When you're seeing still a lot of footwork issues where he's not really setting his base very well, and it's leading to not great accuracy. When you still see that he's struggling with touch passes, but he still just has the fastball. When you see some of his decision-making going where he's throwing into third or to triple coverage at times, leading to some bad plays. When you see situational football still having some problems of not knowing when to throw it away, those are the things that for 6 years. So when they're saying, wait, have patience with him, and I'm saying, well, 6 years of this kind of leads me to believe it's hard for me to believe that this is going to change. That's my one issue. Now, I hope I eat crow on that. I really do. Yeah. I really do. I hope Locke turns into something great. I just hope all of you can come here in the comments and just say, Carl, you're an idiot. and I'll just sit back here and just take it all. I really do. I hope that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, I'll sneak in behind him, like with the mustache on, like, yeah, Carl, you idiot. Like, you don't even go here. We got speaking of not even going here, Chad, what you doing, buddy? Welcome in, saying, yeah, boys, with a $10 super. Well, Chad, thank you very much. Good to see you. We also had Thad Benson in here earlier, and unfortunately, I think Thad might have a better mustache than you, Chad. It's Thad Benson. That's not a way to get Chad to do more supers. Oh, here we go, Thad Benson. Sorry, that absolutely kills me. I'm not sure who that is. If that's Chad too, that is a massive one up for doing the obvious. Nobody would expect him, right?
Yeah.
And we got a $20 super coming in here again. Also, Broncos 17-0 was in here this morning to support me. So thank you very much. As he says, coming in again. Whoop. Well, double whoop for you, Broncos 17-0 over on YouTube. We appreciate you very much. And also, guys, if you're joining us on YouTube today, like that is, make sure if you guys are not in a position to contribute financially, that's okay. Right? Not everybody's always in a position, but one thing you can do that is completely free is go over to our YouTube page, Mile High Huddle, and subscribe, like, and share, right? Do that right now. If you haven't done that yet, if you're hating what's going on, there's other shows there. You can find out what's going on. Make sure you subscribe, though. The little notification will come up, and you'll get a chance to hear what everybody has to say, right? And one thing that I really pride myself on, and am just boastful about this show in general, is that every single show has a different flavor, right? You have some guys who are much more, just emotional writing on it right now. There's some people who are gung-ho Drew Lock. There are some that really don't like Drew Lock. And then there's me trying to pussyfoot myself into both pools, have it both ways. So that way I'm right no matter what. But there's a lot of good stuff. So really, you guys should check it out. I'm still laughing at Thad. God bless it. Yeah. So Carl, let's talk the wide receivers now. Actually, let's talk tight ends. We have talked a lot of the wide receivers. Real quick, KJ Hamler, Bridgewater or Locke?
Bridgewater.
How come?
KJ Hamler doesn't have a great catch radius. Never has. He needs a very accurate quarterback to really take advantage of what he brings to the table. That was my one really big hang up with them drafting him, with Locke being kind of that view of the future. When they went Judy, then went to KJ Hamler, I kind of wondered, how do these two guys work with a guy like Locke? That's why I really kind of lean towards CeeDee Lamb, because he's a guy that can make a lot of catches away from his frame, doesn't always need the most perfect pass to make it work. But again, KJ Hamler, if it's not between the numbers, if it's not within about right here, he's not making the catch. Or at least it's not going to be it's going to be seldom that he makes that great, outstanding catch. And the best thing about KJ Hamler, it's not just that he can win over the top deep speed, because that kind of probably leans towards Locke. His best plays in college were a lot of those quick slants where you're getting the ball into his hand quickly and letting him embarrass players trying to take angles to make a play. Yeah. That speed. It's the same with a lot of the fast guys. It's great that they can win over the top, but their best plays a lot of times are those just quick plays that just let them go, get up to full speed with the ball in their hands, go make a play. So that's why I lean towards Bridgewater.
I am interested to see what KJ Hamler's role is in this offense, because at Penn State, he was much more gadgety in his usage, running a lot of jet sweeps from the slot and whatnot. And the slot fade. And I think a lot of those might actually predicate more towards Locke. But if you're using him more as a get the ball to him quickly and let things happen after the catch, I do lean towards Bridgewater. I think he can make things yak is a quarterback stat, right? If a quarterback's putting the ball on time, and okay, well, here you go, Tim. Merry Christmas, double hat here. If you're hat, I only have 3 hats, not 4 hats, Tim. But if you're putting the ball on time in the right place, the right read, your wide receiver can do stuff after the catch. And the Broncos have been pretty damn dreadful at that in the last few seasons. Part of that is Joe Flacco. They were okay there with Keenum, but the weapons were actually not very good surrounding Keenum. The depth of weapons, Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas, sun starting to set kind of thing going on for them. But it'll be interesting, right? I see a lot of people saying it's a coach's fault, talking about John Elway and whatnot. You guys can have your opinions on what the quarterbacks are going to do this season. That's great either way. But time is going to show reality, right? Yeah. So don't talk in absolutes because that's when you make yourself look real foolish.
Yeah.
And we got pivot. Go ahead, girl.
I just wanted to point out here, Michael, you're looking great in all of your Mile High Huddle swag there. For everybody out there, you can head on over and you can get your own as well. I think it is at huddleup.com. That's where you can get your swag on, as Chad likes to say all the time. And just switching gears here a little bit. We can switch back here in just a second. But this is a good one here, getting to the defensive side. We haven't talked about the defense quite a whole lot here yet. How many sacks will Von Miller and Bradley Chubb have combined staying healthy this NFL season for the Denver Broncos? Go Broncos. Yeah. There's 2 things that kind of play into this for me. One, you do need your offense to play with the lead so that they can actually pin their ears back and go get some sacks. Yeah.
Can you expand upon that a little bit? What does that even mean?
Well,
people out there.
Yeah. So the big thing here is if you are playing from behind, the other team can really just dictate what they do on offense. You can't sit there and just say, we get to go rush after this quarterback because they have no choice but to pass the ball and try to catch up. And, Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, when they can get after a quarterback like that, man, yeah, they're going to get tons of stats. They're going to get stats on stats on stats. But if they're always having to play from behind, it just puts them in a disadvantage of trying to do that. I think that they could really be the best edge duo in football this year, but they might not get the chance to actually prove it. That's the problem. Now, if the offense is out there putting up some good numbers, getting them in an advantageous situation, where they're not having that big turnover that puts them already in the red zone from the start of it, I could see them getting 30 sacks this year. Maybe a 16-14 split.
Man,
that'd be
great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing to see. But I could actually see that happening because they're both great pass rushers. They've both shown at different times they can really put up the stats real quick. But again, this is where so much of football is complementary, where you got to have something else to make something else happen. Wide receivers can't be great if they don't have a quarterback that can get them the football. Offensive linemen, sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, look how many sacks they're giving up. Well, like Jeff Driscoll, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in football when it came to holding on to the football and giving up sacks. A lot of his sacks are on Jeff Driscoll, not on the offensive line.
Yep.
But the stats go against the offensive line. Everybody's going, oh my gosh, they gave up 10 sacks in this game. So again, just so much of football depends on so many other things going right to make something else go right.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I guess if we were putting Vegas on it and an over-under, what would you say, Carl, for the sacks? I would probably put it at
25 here.
I was going to say 21. And it's not because of that. It's because you have to account for injury, right? If one of those guys misses 4 to 6 games, that throws off everything. So, you have to at least look for that a little bit. And I want to get to here real quick, just to correct a comment on here, just to make sure we're getting good knowledge out there. It was from Free Earth Citizen, who I saw here, who always brings in some good stuff here. Broncos will have until May to decide whether or not to exercise Lock's 5th-year option. No 5th-year option for Drew Lock. Drew Lock, not a first-round pick. That decision will be for Noah Fant. So I just wanted to correct you there. No 5th-year option. That's worth talking about. Let's get back to Michael here real quick. Look at that. Look at that guy. Ooh. The hat on, the shirt. Next time I'm going to crop Carl and I's faces on it just because it needs to be about me.
That's right.
But no, that's a great shirt. Thank you so much for the support too. And also fun to see those out there. hopefully those football priests are having some good conversations with a holy power to have Drew Lock turn around this season. Only 5.5 for Chubb, free Earth citizen. That's hurtful. I don't know about that. Man, 27 sacks. See, you guys have to account for injury probability too with that over under. So I don't know, 30 sacks between them. If we get a fourth quarter lead, EJ, we'll see. We will see. I hope so, guys, because I really like both those players a heck of a lot, and I love pass rushers probably more than any other position. So that would be amazing. We got Dale coming in here with the $5 super over on YouTube. Thank you so much, Dale. We appreciate you. I would be happy seeing Locke play at the same pace as his final 6 games last year. 4,063 yards, 26 touchdowns, 14 interception pace. I don't see Teddy doing any better. Can we play the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders defenses for those 16 games as well? Because then we're talking, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. It's tough. The Broncos offense should be better next year, but you can't talk about those stats last year without talking about also the Panthers. Terrible defense last year as well. That's half the games against the bottom 5 defenses. So,
right. But I will say, if these are the stats that he does put up for the season, I'll feel pretty good about the team. It doesn't keep me from going quarterback early in the draft next year, because this is still at best middle of the pack quarterback play.
This wins this team 10 to 11 games though.
So here's the crazy thing. I think the average quarterback rating, this is including all backups that played every snap. Do you know what the average was this last season?
91?
93.
Ooh, my God, man. Quarterback play. That's the thing, man. When people talk about comparing like Dan Marino or John Elway stats or even Peyton Manning stats early on, it's like, guys, the game has changed so freaking much. It's like comparing interceptions today from like back in the 60s when they have half the team had 10 interceptions, right? It's like the game has changed. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you cannot do that. Go ahead.
Elway's first year, the 16th best quarterback, their quarterback rating was a 75.
Was there not even a quarterback that had 75 this year?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think of any that would come off the top of my head here. Maybe Darnold?
I was going to say Carson Wentz.
Oh, that could be too. Yeah, one of those two. But it just shows, quarterback rating has improved 20 points since Elway. It's about 15 points since Manning started in the league. And I really hope here. I can't wait to see how much Peyton Manning rubbed off on Drew Lock just for helping him out the last few months. I hope that makes a big difference. I do. Lock is doing all the right things. Don't get me wrong. I think he's made a lot of right decisions, working hard, but not everybody that works hard makes it in this league.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys that just put in all the work and just never quite make it. You could say there's been a lot of third string quarterbacks that are some of the smartest quarterbacks in the league, but I was told a lot of times that Brock Osweiler, highly intelligent player, but he just, when he actually got on the field, he couldn't see it right. The game was going too fast. Didn't always have the best arm. Again, it just, so much has changed in the game, and some guys just can't always make it work. I really do hope Drew Lock makes it work. And like I said, I hope Peyton Manning, because I think Peyton Manning's rooting for the kid. I really do. We're all rooting for him too. And it's all for the better of the Broncos. If Drew Lock becomes a great quarterback.
Yep.
But I know, and I've seen some people comment of you can't compare him to Herbert and Mahomes. Problem is, those are the guys they're going to be going against for the next 15, 18, 20 years. And if you can't have a better quarterback, if you can't have a better quarterback than them, you're already at a huge disadvantage.
Yep. It's like, Carl, you ever play Catan?
I think so.
Are you that big of a nerd? Okay, you have the resources cards. If you have a quarterback, just imagine a great quarterback. Imagine like doubling your hand. You have like double the resources at all times. You're going to win most of the games when you have a better hand in that regard, because that's just what the quarterback does, right? You're playing
Yeah.
from a disadvantage if you are behind those guys, and that's the bar. It sucks, but it's a reality. And Charlie, I'm helping you out here. Charlie is normally the smartest guy in the room and also one of the funniest guys in the room. But Peyton is with an E. I think you're getting mixed up because of George Payton there too. I saw you do it earlier too. So let's get going. And Charlie was saying why my mind is going so fast, but the conversation is so slow. Picked a bad day to stop sniffing glue, right? No, it's a great movie. Man, Carl. Okay, tight ends. We needed to get to tight ends. And QBs don't play against QBs, says Dale. That's true, but teams play against teams, and because of that, your QBs, you're not going stats for stats with them, but it does make a big difference for if you're winning or losing, right? It's probably like 35% of your team's makeup. So is what it is. But tight ends, Carl. Noah Fant, Albert Okwuegbunam. I think we can put the rest in a box because who? No, I mean, we know the names, but like, not a good depth position this year. But Noah Fant and Albert Okwuegbunam with Teddy Bridgewater and Noah Fant. What are your thoughts here?
I think advantage goes to Locke with both of them.
Okay.
Because Locke likes to attack the middle of the field where Bridgewater's more about the edges. I mean, you look at what he did in Carolina. He had 2 wide receivers that went over 1,000 yards.
Yep.
Tight end didn't do a whole lot with the Carolina last year. Yep. Even when he was with New Orleans, it was kind of the same way. He liked to attack the edges. And where Drew Lock, like I said, loves the middle of the field, that's where Noah Fant, that's where Albert Okwuegbunam is. And we saw right off the bat, even when Albert came in, there was an instant connection between those two. I mean, their time in college obviously pays off. They know each other well. He's got the big catch radius. He's big, strong, fast, all those kind of things. That plays to Drew Lock. He likes to play above the rim. So I'd lean both of them towards Drew Lock.
I think for Fant, it's a wash. Maybe this information about him going to Locke's passing camp maybe shifts it a little bit, but Locke is Fant's a guy who people think about him being this like deep threat because of the speed, but crossing routes to the tight end. There are not linebackers who can keep up for him. So if he's the second or third read and he's busting open on a crossing route to kill a cover 3 or a cover 2 or anything like that, and he gets the ball in space, buddy, bringing down that 6'5", 250-pound dude is really hard. I'm not gonna say impossible, but really hard. Like he's off to the races. So I think Locke could be pretty good if the quarterbacks that's throwing him the ball can throw it on time in the right spot and give him yak opportunities. I think he could really be a good yak weapon. So that's the one I kind of pushed against a little bit, but we'll see. And we got Charlie saying, I've done through real good, but they can't catch it, coach. I don't know if he's trying to get in there with the giving him a hard time earlier. Travis coming in here. Travis Tarbox. Good to see you, Travis. I think Travis joined us this morning as well. He said hello as we were saying goodbye. So I see you, Travis. Hoping Vaughn wins Defensive Player of the Year this season. That's the only thing that has eluded him in his storied career. That would be incredible. And that would mean also that the Broncos offense was probably clicking because you talked about it earlier, Carl. Vaughn gets Defensive Player of the Year. That means that the Broncos were probably playing with the lead. That means they were probably winning some football games. That means the offense was maybe, I wouldn't use humming, but they were at least competent. And that would be incredible, man. I'm a huge Von Miller fan. Like I've said on the show before, I took my fan hat off the moment I joined MHH because I don't want to be biased. I'd rather bring you a real football perspective rather than just saying every single player is the greatest of all time and bring you nothing other than, echo chamber stuff. But I have a hard time with that with Von Miller because he was drafted before I joined, and he's probably maybe him and McManus are probably the last guys on this team that were Broncos before I joined. Yeah. I will admit I am fully biased, full gung-ho, cheering for Von.
Yep. I'm with you. I still remember where I was when he was drafted. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings, and the draft happened to be on, of course, on all their TVs and everything. Yeah. And I was with a bunch of Chiefs fans, and they kept asking, who are the Broncos going to take at number 2? And I told them, I said, I thought they'd lean towards Patrick Peterson. Mm-hmm. Just need that other cornerback opposite of Champ Bailey, kind of getting his, replacement there eventually. And then I told him, but I really want this Von Miller guy. That man is just a man amongst boys on the field. And then when they took him, I just raised my arms up and just closed my eyes and just all excitement. And man, so you're right. There's a lot of homerism when it comes to Von Miller, and he's just been so unfortunate. He's always kind of been that number 2 or number 3 best defensive player in football. When he came into the league, J.J. Watt and
Aaron Donald now.
Right now, Donald. And so he just has always kind of been second fiddle there a little bit, but he's always right on that edge. And so I'd love to see him win that, and it just would be just that last check mark on a storied career.
Yep. That would be great. I honestly, as great as it would be to see him get Defensive Player of the Year, how about a second Super Bowl MVP? That's I think I would prefer that one a little bit more. Shandy coming in here saying, I honestly felt Fitz or Darnold would have been better to push Lock. Teddy's steady, and there's not much to learn from pumping the brakes with Lock's style of play. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is the most likely career arc for Drew Lock at this point, right? Where he's like, oh man, you see the tools, some awesome throws. Like he was top 5 last year in big time throws, but also was one of the guys in the highest like turnover worthy plays. So it's like the roller coaster. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick, Drew Lock, although Fitzpatrick's got that Harvard degree, which he can fall back on. Doesn't always make a guy a great football smart player, but Fitz, I'm in here for it. Darnold, I would have been okay with Darnold, but like what it costs to get Darnold versus what it costs to get Bridgewater, I'm happy with the picks. I'm pretty happy what the Broncos are paying. Very little for Bridgewater, giving up a 6th round pick off the top of my head. Yep. I mean, that's pretty good. That's like bargain buying, right? And there's a reason that he was a bargain buy. But like, I feel pretty good about the price. Maybe I shouldn't get too high about it, but it's not bad.
Well, I mean, funny thing is, of the 3 quarterbacks last year, Teddy Bridgewater probably played the best of the 3. And he cost, well, I guess didn't cost the least, but yeah, like you said, 6th round pick is nothing in today's NFL. Yeah. Teams are willing to throw that away for about anybody. But we got BNS coming in here. Said Albert Okwuegbunam will be a touchdown machine this year. 10 plus # all pro Bowles. I hope Bowles does that. He had a great season, obviously, last year. I think most have known here on Building the Broncos and with Eric and Lance on their show as well. We've been big Bowles fans for a long time. Mm-hmm. We were the ones that kind of said, keep going on this guy. And so I'm glad that paid off, and now he's got his big career or his big contract, and I hope that just continues moving forward. As for Okwuegbunam and his being a touchdown machine, yeah, I said last year that I thought his best role, especially as a rookie, was going to be in the red zone. Mm-hmm. His ability to go up and just make the plays above everybody else, that's what you love to see. I didn't think that he was going to be quite ready to be the in the between the tackles kind of guy, but in the red zone, yeah. I'm here for it. And so I hope he gets healthy, and whoever the quarterback is, I'm hoping that they can lean on him in the red zone and just throw some up there and he can go make up the great catches. But Soren coming in here, Soren Lundgren with a great question. Who is a better blocker at the tight end position? We've talked about this. Do the Broncos even have a blocking tight end?
Maybe this is, some people will kind of come out of here with this one, but I think Noah Fant is the best blocking tight end on this roster. He took big steps forward last year. I thought he came into the league compared to many tight ends, as like a C+ level blocker, right? If you're doing like the old school grading the player of their skill set. And last year I thought he went up to a pure B. He's actually pretty underrated in the blocking regard because the pre-draft talking points of him being such a good weapon and the athlete type, but he looks even bigger this year. He's 3rd year in the league, which is typically the year that you see tight ends break out, 3rd or halfway through their 4th year. You see that tight end break out. So I really think it is Noah Fant, who is the best blocking tight end. I saw somebody earlier ask, the Broncos tight ends can be good if Shermer plans to use them. Don't remember who exactly said that, but I'm sure John will pull it up. But guys, last year the Broncos had the 4th highest rate of tight ends targets per game in the entire NFL. So what does that say, right? Like they weren't the highest in 12 personnel, but they did use the tight end a lot. They were targeting the tight end a lot. The only teams they were behind were the Raiders, Darren Waller, the Chiefs, Travis Kelce, and the Eagles, who don't have anybody I would say that's better than Noah Fant, but Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, right? So it's like Broncos are not using tight ends. I think that's just a bad narrative. I don't know who really started that, but the ball's getting to the tight end.
I think it's because so many people see that when Shermer came in, the system that he loves to run is the 3 wide set.
And they did play average, like 12th ranked in terms of 12 personnel. So that is the 2 tight end stuff. They're not leaning into it, but they're also not like dead last, not even close.
Right. Yeah. I think just because he came into it that way, there's a lot of people that thought that's exactly what he did because the tight ends didn't put up big stats. Well, the entire offense didn't put up big stats. So it just kind of plays into that whole idea. Can't play at tight end if you don't block. That's very, very true there with Iowa. Everybody has to learn how to block.
Yep, and Michael coming in here saying undrafted tight end Sean Byer from Iowa could be the next undrafted player to make the Denver Broncos roster on offense. That would be great. Sean Byer from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, traveled down about 30 minutes to Iowa City. And a personal story about Sean Byer, a buddy of mine, and I drove up to Madison, Wisconsin for that 2016 Broncos game, Hawkeye game up in Madison. And we had a way too good of a time before the game, let me tell you. And we were kind of, looking around, trying to find some food somewhere. And Sean Byer's mom waved us over. Just could tell that we were in need of some assistance and fed us up and, sent us with a few adult beverages on our way as well. So Sean Byer, another player I'm probably not going to be super unbiased towards because I stand Sean Byer because his mom saved me and my friend's life that day. And it was not a great game. But I don't remember. No, I'm just kidding. But Sean Byer, a shout out to Sean Byer and especially his mom. I think his mom's name is Dawn. So thank you, Dawn. God bless. Man, we got Charlie Beagle coming in here saying Fant was unstoppable in one of the games, and we totally ignored him in the second half. You're talking about the Titans game, and my understanding was that there were plays that were designed to go to him, and the ball did not get to him. So I will lead no further than that. You can draw your own conclusions. So we got Albert coming back in saying they were Andrew Morrow. Okay, we're coming with Andrew Morrow here, the $5 super, and we're going to be getting out of here pretty soon. So if you got your supers, get him in, beat the buzzer. I'm going to ask y'all every week till it comes true, but what are the odds on Rodgers to Denver? I don't do odds because I'm not really much of a gambler, so Carl could probably give you something better. But Rodgers to Denver, I will go 23%. I don't know. I think it's not going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it could draw out all the way through this year. So I'm going to go 23% because I was in between 20 and 25. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic, 23%.
All right. I'm going to go 46%. And
46? Come again?
46. Yes. Honestly, if I had to put odds on, I'd say it's like 75% chance that he does not play for the Packers this year, but only about a 46% chance of that, of just actually being that they get traded, that he gets traded to the Broncos. I think the Packers are dug in. I think Rodgers is dug in, and it's unfortunate that is kind of where we're at. I think if I had to guess which one blinked first, I'd say it's the Packers.
Oh man.
Just because Rodgers is one of those guys that he can hang in there. And he's got the money. He doesn't have to worry about the money. He's got other options of things that he could go out there and do. We've said it on here before that Rodgers isn't one of those guys that just so absolutely loves football like there's nothing else in the world. He's not one of those guys. He's got other interests. He's got other things that he can go do and have fun. And we've seen this offseason, he's out there having, the time of his life. And so he doesn't need football. Football needs Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bigger thing here. And I think he knows that. And for the Packers, they're going to have to make that decision. Like, is it worth us being so stubborn headed that we're going to be willing to miss out on getting maybe 3 first-round picks for this guy that doesn't even want to play for us? I like I said, I just think the Packers are going to blink first.
Yeah. Well, I really hope that's the case, man. Danny's saying 0%. So Danny, going from the good vibes of Carl to the bad vibes there. We don't like that. Unless you're pulling against it, in which case, if you think that's what you want, then Godspeed. I'm not going to tell you what to cheer for or what to hope for. Yep. Other than Broncos wins. If we can't agree on that, I will gatekeep. If you're cheering against the Broncos, unless it's the end of the year and a lost year for draft position, then I would be upset with you. For your citizen coming in with a $10 super over on YouTube, one of the buzzer beaters here coming down the tracks. Do you guys think DeMornay Pearsonell will start as a kickoff punt returner. If so, does Deontay Spencer get cut? No. And I guess that disqualifies the second question because I do not think he's going to be the starting punt off kick returner. I think more likely you're going to see, if Deontay Spencer does get cut, I think KJ Hamler would be returning punts and Tyree Cleveland would be returning kicks.
Yep. Yeah, I think the Broncos are trying to make it very clear to Spencer that what he did last year was unacceptable at times. I mean, he got benched at one point during the season because he was making so many bad decisions. He's got speed and he's got some moves. He's made a few great plays for the Broncos, but going back to like the 2-yard line and catching a punt, that's not smart football. And he did it on a regular basis of catching inside the 10. Like that's supposed to be their cutoff. If you get to the 10-yard line and the ball's going over your head, let it go. Hope that it bounces into the end zone. If not, hey, we live with it. But don't take it at, the 5-yard line, the 7-yard line, whatever. And he just kind of has, there's times where he had that attitude of, I know I can make a big play. It doesn't matter that this is the other smart decision to make. So I still think Spencer has a chance to make this team. He's just got to, like I said, he's got to make some smarter decisions out there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we got another super here coming in from Geimer Gaming saying with a super sticker. Oh, I guess John's probably going to pull that one up here in a second. And we got George Newton saying Skangs was better. What's Skangs doing these days? Is he like the assistant to the assistant regional manager for the 49ers?
He is back with the 49ers. I think he is back as a quarterback's coach for them.
Okay.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
I do think that Skangs system was better for Drew Lock in a vacuum than what Shermer wants, but that's because Shermer puts more mentally on the quarterback to execute his system, where Kyle Shanahan's tree, a lot of times that first read is the guy to go to, right? And where Shermer's is much more predicated on pre-snap and post-snap reads from the quarterback based on coverages, box numbers, et cetera, et cetera. So they put more on the plate of the quarterback with Shermer's scheme. And depending on the quarterback, that sometimes can be better or sometimes that can be worse. So, yep. And also it, don't want to just imply the intelligence, although Ben Albright said like, oh, Drew Lock's known as the slow learner. Like, right. Like here we are, like he's been supportive as anybody has been, but it just is what it is. But let's get to Geimer coming in here real quick with the rock on signs. Thank you very much for the $3 super with the A in front of it too. Is that it's the dollar sign. So it still must be USA dollars, but John's mouthing something. It's not USA dollars. Well, either way, Geiger Gaming. That's what it is. Geiger Gaming. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Also, I'm not sure if we had, it's Aussie. Okay. Thank you very much. Aussie. Oi, 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 oi. Man, I traveled abroad with some Australians and you guys, maybe not you, Geiger Gaming, but very much fit the stereotype. Drinking and cussing. My God. Great time. It was also the summer prior to the USA 2016 election. And, felt good to be Australians for a little bit because didn't want to be asked every 2 seconds about that from Europeans. That would not be the most fun. But guys, we got to get out of here. We're at an hour and 3 minutes. John has a hot date. I don't know. I'm just making excuses. He's just rolling his eyes. Maybe. Ooh, kissy face. John, don't tease me. That's already too hot in here. But that's gonna do it for us. We appreciate everybody who came in today and contributed so much. I know that times can be tough, but anybody who did a super chat, superstar, super sticker, we see you. We really appreciate it. Helping keep the lights on the show. Obviously, we're not competing with each other in regards to the money making every time, but it certainly doesn't hurt and keeps us relevant when we can do stuff like that. And you guys help a heck of a lot. Follow us on Twitter, please. Follow Carl at Carl Dumler MHH. Also follow John at John K MHH, and follow myself at Nick Kendell MHH. While you guys are all over on Twitter, please follow the show account for Building the Broncos at BTB Football Pod, and the mothership at Mile High Huddle. Doing all that, you can get to our contacts. If there's a question on here that you guys thought that we deserved to be answered that we didn't get to, seriously, at us on Twitter. We will give you a personal talk right now. If you just want to talk ball with us, that's fine. That's great. It doesn't just have to be on the live stream. I can admit, addicted to Twitter right here. This guy, my wife will be the first to say it. addicted. So if you got, especially with football stuff, so if you guys got something you want to talk about, please get after us at Carl and I. Carl also, I feel like he beats me to the punch a lot of times on those ones, and he gives 3-4 tweet responses. So you're getting your money's worth, guys. Follow us on Twitter. Get after us, guys. Please also, if you're on Facebook, click those little thumbs up. As we like to say, we got an angry react right now from Zebulon. Oh, Zebulon, we love you. I don't know what the angry react for. I hope he just misclicked. Unless he was angry that the show was so good that he couldn't even stand it. But click the thumbs up, click the heart react, click the thumbs up, or click the care react also. We appreciate that one. If you join us on Facebook, facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod or facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. Click those pages, find those pages, join us there. Also, guys, make sure you are, there we go, joining us on YouTube by subscribing, liking, and sharing. I know that not everybody's in a spot where they can financially contribute, but doing this can help us a lot as well. It helps all the shows also. So thank you, everybody, for coming in, being supportive. Mike S. saying, love the show. Mike, we love you. I'm not the biggest Alabama guy out there, but seeing you in here with the Alabama stuff, you're definitely giving them a good name. So maybe I'll lean into them a little bit. I guess the Broncos drafting them back-to-back years might do that too. Bob Skinner, great show. Bob, you're great. Jay saying, love y'all. Thad Benson saying, good work, fellows. Thank you very much, Thad. God, what a handsome lip sweater that is right there. Trevor Sandel saying, thanks for a good podcast, fellas. Pillar came in late, guys. The show is going to be up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find it on there. And EJ saying, great show, guys. Yeah, that's going to do it for us, guys. We love y'all. Yeah, anything you want to say before we get out of here, Carl?
Yeah, just what EJ said here. Buenas noches, Broncos country, or good night, Broncos country, for those who do not Espanol. No, just thank you guys all for joining us. And I know sometimes we disagree. As we saw here today, there were some that disagreed with us, and that's fine. We love that. We really do. Yes. We love that kind of conversation, and anything that anybody else can bring to the table. That's what makes this show so fun. Is getting to have those kind of conversations. And so we really appreciate you all just joining us here. It's going to be a long off season here for a month and a half or so, but that's the great thing about having this kind of podcast is we still get a chance to stay connected and get to talk about some Bronco football and just talk about general in life. That's what I love. And so we, again, just appreciate everyone. Nick, John, appreciate both of you guys. It's always brightens my Tuesday to see both of your faces. So yeah, I love you guys. Yeah, I really do. But
we need to get the heck out of here. It's getting too sappy. Yeah. It's too hot here to be that lovey. All right. Well, guys, everyone stay safe. Carl and I will see you again on next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I will see you guys riding solo again on Thursday morning for Broncos for breakfast. Everyone stay safe. Like I said, stay cool. God. And we'll see you guys soon. And tune in tomorrow. Huddle Up guys are back. Love y'all. Go Broncos.